Thank you so much.
Sweet daughter, like a bird I fly through the ages. This is how I turn back my pages. Everything under the rain and the thunder they pour. Melodies open, the bird it has spoken in full. Down on the river, the boatman delivered the name. Now I repeat it to swallow the secret untamed. Can a knife cut through your still water? In the mountains hides a sweet daughter. Like a bird I fly through the ages. This is how I turn back my pages. Yeah, turn it back, come back with a sweet moon song never lacked. To back when the land was filled with warrior, sweet euphoria, that was a fact. Back when I never ever counted those leaves on the trees. We jumped those seas, back when the fable was strong all night long. Back when love was the key, you see what the boatman gave me your name. Now I repeat it, constantly feed it. I need it, all wise men seek it. In my heart I keep it. Now that the earth is turning real fast, I hold on strong just to make it all last. This storm it soon shall pass. Give thanks and praise at last. The house of song is ash, feeble whispers from my past. Tell them all the bird is leaving its cage. Heard that word from a great sage on a different page. I don't speak hollow, these words are full, come follow. And if you see tomorrow, the rains will wash your sorrow. Oh, oh, oh. When you looked in the water and saw your reflection, the embers, they drew out a map and they showed you direction. Your sender is far in the east where your heart is at peace when you enter. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, yeah. My love is just a reminder, find your center, yeah. Well, help me recall that first morning, sunlight at dawn, and cracks on the floor, well, it served as a warning. Everything's changing, rearranged, you felt so familiar, so amazed. I hopped in the car, drove through the mountains, cows in the street, prayer beads you were counting. There was the river, eternal giver, flowing forever. Remember, find your center. Oh, my love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, yeah. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love, yeah. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 When you've lost your way, colors start to fade. Take a look within, find your offering. Well, hold it to the sun, let your spirit run. Remember, remember, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, yeah. My love is just a reminder, find your center, yeah. My love is just a reminder, yeah. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, yeah. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder. All right. I'm going to leave this plugged in. All righty. Jai Ma, welcome everyone, near and far, to a night in the village. This is super surreal and crazy, and I have so many emotions going through my body right now, just being back in a venue and playing music through a big sound system and with nobody here. It's quite an experience, but from the bottom of my heart, I'm extremely grateful to the Fox Theater here in Boulder, Colorado, for opening their doors to us, to all the beautiful people that came together to help put this on. Yeah, hopefully it goes okay. I hope you're in a comfortable place on your couch or watching from your phone, wherever you may be, sending love to you. This show is a show that we did. Perhaps a few of you fans had seen it on the road, A Night in the Village. It's kind of like a storyteller show where I get to kind of go deeper into certain aspects of myself, but also really tell the stories behind different albums and different songs, and it's quite an interactive experience. And we did a few of these tours, and
it was great medicine for me to be able to bathe in all these rivers, all these memories every evening. So I'm looking forward to tonight to really, jumping in the water and washing myself off here. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into it and start telling some stories. And we'll go from there. So the first story I'd like to dive into, or the place I'd like to talk about, is the place that really inspired the album Chapter of the Forest. It's one of my favorite albums that has come through me, and it was really inspired by this place here, the Narmada. And the Narmada is a river in India that kind of flows from central India west. And it's a really, really magical place, and I was very fortunate to make it there a couple times in my life. But this is at the source of the Narmada. And there's a beautiful story about how the Narmada came into, came to earth, I guess. In India, they believe that Lord Shiva, who is the king of yogis, the first yogi, the first shaman, he was in meditation. And his meditation became so deep and intense and focused that he began to sweat. And when his sweat fell to the earth, a beautiful divine girl came up out of the earth, and she began to run through the forest. And as she was running through the forest, she became a river. And that river is the Narmada River. And there's many holy, rivers in India, the most famous, probably being the Ganges River. And they believe that, if you bathe in this river, all your negative karmas and sins and stuff will be destroyed. But they say with the Narmada, you just have to look. That's how, I guess, merciful she is, So a lot of Chapter of the Forest was came from this place, was born from this place, was spoken from this place. On the album, if you're familiar with the record, there's 2 songs dedicated to the mystic poet Kabir. And one of the reasons I wanted to go to this place, to the Narmada, was because Kabir was said to have practiced his spiritual practices here in the forest. And Kabir being one of my inspirations and heroes, it only seemed right to go there and pay my respects. So this is actually a photo of myself in the exact place in the forest, in the exact space where Kabir was said to have practiced his meditation. And it was quite a moment for me to get there and to think, wow, Kabir, 15th century, I don't know how many years, ago was he here, maybe perhaps next to this same tree or, walking in these same spots. It was quite a mystical time. And this next photo is a photo that I took at the source of the Narmada, the place where she comes up out of the earth. It's just a magical place. One kind of side note, I don't want to go too long with each story, forgive me, I'm kind of rusty when it comes to shows and being on stage. But in India, a lot of the pilgrims, they do what they call a Narmada Parikram, which means they circumambulate the whole Narmada. So they start, at one point, maybe here at the source, usually, and they walk along one side. They keep Narmada to their right, and they walk all the way through India on her banks. It takes years, and it's not easy. And they walk all the way to where she empties into the ocean. Then they cross and they walk all the way back on the other side, back to the source here. And one of my trips there, I was here at the source, just, getting darshan, just visiting. And this group of pilgrims had come back from their time, their parikram. I don't know how long they're on parikram, probably a year or two. And they came back to the source, and they were all singing as they came back and chanting and crying. And I couldn't imagine what they were going through, what they were feeling. But I was very lucky to have had at that moment a recorder in my bag. And I ended up recording their bhajans, their holy songs. And if you listen to the song, Chapter of the Forest, on the album, the actual song, at the end of the song, there's some chanting that comes in, and that's actually the chanting that I recorded here at her source. So, little fun fact. But yeah, it's a very special album, but it's also an extremely special song to me. I tend to drift back there whenever I sing it. So, without further ado, that's our first chapter 1 story, and I'll sing the song for you now.
Greet my Lord down by the riverside. It hits me almost every time. Beauty runs so deep that it's hard to sleep at night. This is the chapter of the forest. Every line and every chorus from my heart, it comes up pouring to every single melody. Flame without the smoke. On this holy poetry, I swear I'll never choke, because I only speak of Normandy. Harder, harder every day. Lay my love down at the waters, calling on the mountains, daughter. No more books, no more empty words, no more running away from her. I now learn from the wind and rain, from the song of the lion's mane. And as it tosses the sun and moon, I sit back and behold that tune. All glory upon her name. We say harder, 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 Narmade. Harder, 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 Narmade. the simple one perspires with a face that burns like fire. That's where I lay my body down. And in my dream I heard the lesson of the vault that holds the heavens. So now I gaze upon the crowd. You see my woman, she is stainless. Stood there at the base, touched her face. Saw the gods come out the mountain, sweet embrace. Her song, it can't be heard unless you let go of the world. So I laid it all down and I behold what I heard. Yeah. No more books, no more empty words. No more running away from her. I'll now learn from the wind and rain, from the soul lion's mane. And as he tosses the sun and moon, I sit back and behold that tune. All glory upon her name. We say, Hara, 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 Lamade. Hara, 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 Lamade. Hara, 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 Lamade. Hara, 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 Lamade. Oh, no. Thank you very much. All right.
Hopefully y'all are cheering and going crazy. I can only imagine in my mind. All right, chapter 2, y'all. I'd like to, keeping with India, a lot of stories are obviously about India tonight just because that's the place that caught me, I guess. But I'd like to talk about the Baals of Bengal. The Baals are a group of people, mainly coming from Bengal, which is kind of the eastern state of India, West Bengal, Bangladesh, like this. And they're very interesting people, and they've influenced my life and music more than I can understand. It just kind of, the journey keeps on getting deeper. But the word Baal comes from a Sanskrit word batula, which means one who is afflicted with the spirit of the wind. The word also means mad, not mad like I'm angry with you, but mad like I'm crazy. I'm mad for the spirit. I'm crazy for the spirit. And they're really interesting people. They usually don't give much importance to temples and images and this type of thing or classes or categories like this. They give importance to the human. And they believe in what they call the Moner Manush, which means the person of the heart. And this Moner Manush resides in everyone and everything. And they believe in order to catch this Moner Manush, which they sometimes call it an unknown bird that flies in and out of the heart. One of the best ways to catch this bird is through ecstatic song and dance. So it's an oral tradition. Nothing is written down. Mostly everything is passed down through song, from guru to disciple, from teacher to student. And their songs are extremely, extremely deep and mystical and profound. All their realizations from their practice, their meditations, their experiences are all put into song. But they're very, very amazing people, and I became quite interested in them, I guess, on my journey. And this is one of the most famous pictures of Nabanidas Kepabao. And it's a very famous, it was taken by a very famous photographer, a Bengali photographer that I am not remembering the name. But I remember that the photographer said he didn't want anything in the background. He wanted only the open sky, because a Baal is like that. He's as free and open as the sky. And this picture really is just one of my favorite shots. I have it blown up in my studio and look at it all the time. And his expression and his mood, his joy is really kind of, I guess, my goal with playing music. But in my journey, in learning about the Baals, I was very lucky to have become kind of adopted by a Baal named Haradan Das Baal. And this is a picture I took of him when we journeyed out to his birth village in West Bengal. And it's really amazing. It's like stepping back in time, mud houses and bullock carts, and it's just very powerful. But in coming in contact with him and kind of being adopted into his family, he taught me and is teaching me a lot about the Baal culture and Baal songs and that universal aspect of love and going beyond distinction and going beyond all these categories that we create in our mind that divide us. They walk a path of acceptance and openness, and they don't really have a problem with anybody, as one Baal teacher said, we're the ones that don't have a problem with anybody, but everybody has a problem with us. So that's kind of their mood. This is a picture that my wife took. I think this was in 2017, maybe, when we were at Baba's house here in West Bengal, outside of Calcutta, and this is him teaching me some songs. And it's one of the most amazing times of my life. In 2013, I spent a couple months with him, and I would ride my bike through the village every day to his home, and he would just sing all day. We'd drink tea, sing, drink tea, sing. And it was really amazing. But one of their songs, they sing songs that this world is a madhouse and everybody's crazy. Some are crazy for fame, some are crazy for money, some are crazy for sex, some are crazy for power, but who is crazy for the Spirit? Let me be crazy for the Spirit. They sing songs like this. So when I was learning all these songs and just kind of bathing in this mood of the Baals, I wanted to write a song that was dedicated to the Baals, but also tried to invoke that spirit of madness, that spirit of being crazy, crazy in a good way, crazy for the beloved or the Great Spirit. So it's a song called The Weaver, and it's on our album, The Fruitful Darkness. And it was actually an older song. I wrote it quite some time ago in Calcutta. Kept it to myself for a while, but I'm very glad that it made its way onto The Fruitful Darkness. And yeah, here it is.
Like fire on a mountain and bliss upon a star, a symphony of thunder. I look to where you are. All over the country, the thieves they like to roam. It's you I must remember, the one to lead me home. The great mother is calling, don't waste your precious days. Time is of the essence. Heed these words I say. The Master lives and breathes in everything we are. I'm calling to his mailman, the mailman of the heart, the mailman of the heart. Mailman of the heart. Mailman of the heart. If you reason loud, you shall surely sink. Drowning in the water, raise your hands up to the King. The path it has been shown by ones who've gone before. Turn your gaze within and stop knocking on the door. Weave your actions well into the fabric of your soul. If you wander now, you'll never find your way back home. The word it has been spoken, the Master isn't far. I'm calling to his mailman, the mailman of the heart, the mailman of the heart. To the fabric of your soul, find your way back home. The mailman of the heart, weave me through the dark, weave me through the dark. Mailman of the heart. go again, creation. Clap now for the jubilation. Look at all that light you making, send it out, no reservation. Like a river we let it flow, still high like a volcano. My devil still got my soul in the hot, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow. Halo, wish on a butterfly wing. Take that crown, put it on that king. Sing like a child, don't care for opinion. Real love across our dominion. Oh, so bountiful. Pull it back and let it go. Like ocean wave, we're powerful. Constellation magical. So this love still holds you. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Set up, set up, set up, set up, my love. I won't give up on you. I stand up, God, put my hands up, root down strong like Mount Acacia. In the ocean, holy emotion, ride down flow. I see you later. In the park of Shangri-La, see my mind standing holy. All those colors filled with glory. Open up and hear this story. Oh, this love still holds you. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. This love still holds you. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Follow, follow, follow you. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Keep on, hey, hey. Alrighty.
All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Everybody's chilling. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully this is being broadcasted. Hopefully. I don't know. I'm just cruising. I'm having a great time. I just want to shout out my amazing wife for letting me steal all of her photos here. for the interims and for all these songs. Some of them are my photos, but all the good ones are hers. This is a photo that she took in Nepal of the shamans dancing. And again, I like the mood just because it's nothing but the open sky behind them. So yes, my dear. This next story I want to dive into is one of, I guess, one of the most important experiences that I've had in my life, I felt. And I'm throwing it kind of way back here to an album called This Is Blue. And that's an album that I recorded, God, I don't even know, maybe 2007, 2008. But there's a song, or rather a poem on there called The Lion's Mane that I never really play, never get to play just because it's so moody and it's very quiet. It doesn't really go over well in, I guess, a loud setting. But since nobody's here, this will be the perfect, hopefully. But anyway, this was on my first, this story takes place 2007, my first trip to India. And I was very, green and fresh, still I'm pretty green, but I was very green then. And I traveled to India with my guru and another monk and my high school teacher, actually. It was us four. And one of the first places we went to was Rishikesh, kind of a popular spot at the base of the Himalayas. And while we were there, it was suggested to kind of go deeper into the Himalayas to really experience their majesty. So we decided to take a day trip to a place called Devprayag, which is a village a couple hours into the mountains there. And on our way to Devprayag, we stopped at this place called Vashishta Gufa. And this is Lord Vashishta, the sage Vashishta, was one of the 7 Saptarishis in India, the original seers. And it's said in this place, Gufa means cave. So it's said that the sage Vashishta stayed here back in the ancient times and meditated in his cave there. And it's a really, really powerful place. What you can't see to the right of the picture is the Ganga is flowing so beautifully out of the Himalayas and into the plains. But that temple there is where the cave is, inside of the mountain. And, it was really an amazing experience because it was the first time, I think, in India that there was really nobody around because it's very quiet up there. And I was just feeling super, super, holy. I was feeling like a real, true, yogi up there. And anyway, we went down to the cave, and when you go to a holy place, they usually give you what they call prasad, which is like a blessed food, a blessed offering. So sometimes you get fruit or sweets like this. And when we went into the cave, one of the babas gave me a banana. And so I had this banana, and we kind of sat in the cave for a while, and I was very, affected by that space. And when we came out, my party, they walked back up to the car on the road. They hiked back up to the road. And I wanted to take a bath in the river because it was just so incredibly peaceful and beautiful. And it was like the first time, if not the only time, I was in India really alone. There's nobody around, and I took my bath, and looking up at the Himalayas, I'm just like, oh my God, I am so, peaceful. I am so holy, I was feeling the vibes. And anyway, I'm walking back to the car. Hiked back up to the car. And when I got up to the road, it was just our Jeep, and the three people I was traveling with, they were standing by the Jeep, but over here there was a beggar kind of kneeling down and holding out his hands. And I thought, to myself, oh, well, he's like a beggar and he's hungry, and I'll give him my banana. I'll go over and give him my banana because it's the right thing to do. It's the holy thing to do, and I'm feeling so holy, so yeah, let's do it. So I walked over to the man, and I held out my banana, and he was just kneeling. He was kind of squatting and just looking up at me, and I was holding out the banana, and he wouldn't take it. And I thought, it's kind of strange. And I was like, here you go. Take the banana, And he had no reaction. He was just looking at me and holding out his hands. And for some reason, that super holy feeling, that super clean, whatever feeling began to disappear quite rapidly. And I began to really judge this man. I began to really be like, what is your problem? Like, I'm trying to do something nice here. I'm giving you this offering. Like, is it because I'm like a Westerner? Like, you're not taking it? Like, what the heck? And I don't know why. It just was spinning out of control, going. And I just cut this man up in my mind, just super judgmental and like this, and I was just about to just kind of toss the banana or something in his hands, and right when I was about to do that and walk away, one of the monks in our party shouted that he's blind. And I just crumbled. I felt so gross and so dirty. And in that moment, and I remember that I placed the banana in his hands, and I could feel his calloused fingers on mine, and he kind of got a little teary, and I just started weeping uncontrollably because I just felt like such a jerk, and it definitely just knocked me on my ass. And was just a huge teaching, because in that moment I was definitely the blind man. And yeah, anyway, we get back in our Jeep and we continue our journey to Devprayag, this village where these two rivers meet, and thus begins the Ganges River. This is a photo that my wife took 10 years later. We went back to this spot, and she took it there. But we bathed down there where that point is, where the rivers meet, and I felt like I had to wash off. I washed off all this dirt, the dirt of my heart, from that moment with the blind man. Yeah, and we just got back in the car and started driving back to Rishikesh in silence pretty much the whole way, and it was just a really moving day, and I've never forgotten that day. And when I kind of got back to the States, I really wanted to write a song about that experience, but nothing was really coming through. I only had this poem. And so I decided to put the poem to music, and that is what is The Lion's Mane, which is on This Is Blue. So, yeah, here she is for the blind man.
I woke up in the lion's mane, kissing silhouettes of mountains dancing in the moonlight. Am I awake or is this a dream? Or am I awaking into a state of wakefulness buried deep in my deepest dreaming sleep? You can only guess what happened next. I swallowed an apple seed and gave birth to angels' wings, which lifted me to the top of this orange grove, where I saw a man trying to count all the oranges, all the trees, and all the leaves. Turns out this man was me, losing count and starting over, losing count and starting over, chasing my own tail until I got dizzy and fell asleep in the clouds. I woke up in the lion's mane, on a single lane road deep within God's dreadlocks, when I gave my banana to the blind man only to realize who was really blind. My eyes couldn't decide. My eyes couldn't find. My eyes couldn't see that this blind man was me. We then continued to a village of meeting rivers where Mother Earth washed me down and gave me a new birth, where my sight was restored and I could see all the gems hiding on the ocean's floor. Well, I dove in. I actually did a cannonball and swam deeper and deeper as things got clearer and clearer. And when I saw the sharks, I wasn't afraid. For this time enshrined in my heart was the Almighty's name. I think my sanity has gone insane. I woke up in the lion's mane. In the lion's mane. I don't want you to be a stranger. I just wanna call you my own. you to be a stranger. Wanna be tied to your soul, your soul. When you call, I come running. I tell you I waste no time. I will meet you in the sacred, oh, beyond the borders of the mind. No more building up these walls now. I will break them down with sound. Oh, while you're moving, let it be smoking, big as the ocean. Oh, my love, it knows no bounds. Yeah. I don't want you to be a stranger. I just want to call you my own, my own. I don't want you to be a stranger. Wanna be tied to your soul, your soul. Yeah, I confide, I wanna be tied to the chords of your love that are so sublime. Got a home in the original, I tell no lie. Give it all to the subliminal, oh my mind. You see one become two, the two become one. I am not afraid, yes I will not run. I put forth my words with the light of the sun. This is my invitation to my heart station. I don't want you to be a stranger. I just wanna call you my own, my own. I don't want you to be a stranger. Wanna be tied to your soul, yeah, your soul. No, no, no. I don't want you to be a stranger. I just wanna call you my own, yeah, my own. No, no, no. I don't want you to be a stranger. Wanna be tied to your soul, yeah, your soul. Oh, no. Oh,
All right. That is a song called My Own we released a month ago or so, inspired by Sri Sharda Devi, a great Indian saint and mystic pictured here. Great inspiration. It was also on the cover of that single art. I think it's the first time I've officially played it live for you all, so hope you enjoyed. So we're going to change gears here a little bit. This will be our final kind of story, I guess. We're going to kind of leave India, I guess, and talk about the album Kala and what inspired Kala. This is a picture of me and my grandmother, Mama, we affectionately called her. She was the main inspiration behind that album, Kala. The word Kala means times. It's a Sanskrit word for time. Ever since I was a young kid, as far back as I remember, I've always had this thing with time. I've always been quite stressed with time and always looked on time as this kind of mechanical thing that is just driving all of us mad in a way. And I always felt, great pressure from it, a great kind of urgency, I guess, from it. It was always just a thing, I guess, for me. And one day I was walking with my grandmother, Mama. She's passed away. But before she passed away, I was pushing her in her wheelchair. She was quite old at that point, not really saying much, but when she did, it was quite powerful. And I was just walking with her outside, and she kind of looked up in this moment and said, "Isn't time such a wonderful gift?" And I was like, what? Like, it's just so out of the, I don't know, it really hit me. One, because she was at the end of her time, which I found quite interesting for her to say that. And then two, just given my aspect towards time like this, it was just kind of strange. But I didn't think much of it. I just kind of went, continued walking with her, and that was it. But what I didn't know at that point was she had kind of planted that mantra within my being. And as the years went on, as time went on, that mantra was slowly going in my head. Isn't time such a wonderful gift? Isn't time such a wonderful gift? And without even trying almost, my attitude towards time started to change. I started to view time as kind of healing, view time as space, view time as like a circle, a cycle, rather than a straight line, that has this beginning and end. And my relationship to time really softened because of her. So fast forward a bit, we're living on Hawaii at the time, my wife and I, and this song comes through, "You Can't Rush Your Healing." And at that moment, I didn't really know what it was for, because I was living quite a good life, going to the beach every day and being on such sacred ground there in Hawaii. And I was writing the album, Kala, and this song came through, and I just didn't know what it was for. And then the last day, we were leaving Hawaii. I was going to travel down to Australia to play the Byron Blues Festival, which is this amazing festival that we had tried so hard to get on at that point of my career. It was a big, huge thing for us. It's always a big thing for us to go down there and play. It's such an amazing experience. But, being that it was our first time getting on the bill, it was a big deal for us. And while I was going to do that, my wife was going to Nepal to go on a yatra, a journey there, where she spends a lot of her time. But the last day in Hawaii, our very last day, I became extremely ill with a really bad, I won't go into the details, but a really bad sickness, let's put it that way. And I was flown back to the mainland, to LA, and I was admitted to the hospital and couldn't walk, and had to shave my dreadlocks, and it was quite a dark moment for me. I had to cancel going down to Australia. My wife canceled her trip to Nepal to stay with me. And while I was, in the hospital, just moping, I guess, this song, "You Can't Rush Your Healing," came to me, and I felt my grandmother's presence, and I thought, oh my God, Grandma, you didn't have to go this far, to teach me the lesson. But it was quite a moment, and I realized, I can't rush my healing. I can't go to Australia. I can't get out of here when I want to. I just have to be patient. And so again, some time passed, I think a couple months, and I had, since gotten out of the hospital, and the earthquake happened in Nepal, the big earthquake. I forget which year. I think it was 2016, maybe 15. But it was really scary for a lot of people, for us as well, because we have so much family over there and friends, and we were very worried about everyone. But at that moment, I remember I asked my wife, I said, hey, would you have been there? Because she had canceled her trip when I got sick. I said, would you have been there? And she said, she looked at her ticket on her computer, and she said, oh my God, I was scheduled to leave that night. And the earthquake happened at about 9 a.m, so she would have been in Kathmandu if I wouldn't have gotten so sick. And that really affected me. And at that moment, I began to kind of slowly look on time as a spirit, as something that is kind of arranging everything perfectly. Even the most horrible things in our lives, all of our ups and downs. But, usually our real bad times, we're like, oh, this is happening at the worst moment. This is happening at the worst time. But perhaps it's happening at the best time, the perfect time. And we may not understand it at that moment. We may not understand it a year later, years later, maybe our whole lives. But I thought to myself, if I can live in that surrender, to trust that great spirit, that spirit of time. Oh, I am in this moment here, Fox Theater, doing this. I'm in the exact moment I need to be, the exact place. And I know everything that I need to know in this exact moment. If I don't know it, I don't need it right now. If to live in that surrender, I just think about how much space it would create for all of us, for all of our lives and our world. But to take the story just a little bit deeper, the end of the story, this picture is quite dear to me because we recorded the album and I turned it into the label. And the label kind of dictates, at that time I was on the label Vanguard Records, and they kind of dictate, the best release date. And they said August 21st is your release date. I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's my dad's birthday, his 60th birthday. I thought, wow, that's cool. He'll like that. And then, as that year went on, we booked our tour. And usually, again, the agent kind of sends you a bunch of dates, and you just kind of glance over the dates, and you think, oh, yeah, that's good. You don't pay too much attention to it. At least I don't. I just think, okay, we're going on tour. And without even planning it, without even really knowing it, we had a day off on August 21st, and we were passing through South Carolina, which is where I grew up, where my family lives, and where my grandmother lived. And so I got to be with her on the release day of that album, and I got to play it for her. And this is me playing her the album off my computer just before she passed. So it was a pretty high moment for me, and I think of her all the time when I play this song. So this one, it goes out to all of us now, especially in such a crucial time in our existence. Everything comes and goes, we must remember, but we can't rush the wave. We have to be patient, We can't, we have to surrender and open our hearts and trust in the great way. So this is a song for all of us in this moment. You can't rush your healing.
comes to me upon the strings. When I hear it, will I sing? Well, I can't say it's my creation, staying patient what it brings. Let me say I'm coming humble. I don't know what's right or wrong. I just keep on believing, passing down an old song. An old song. Where everybody's got that chapter of dark and darker days. Saturn seems to be returning and his essence can't be tamed. Some we like to fight it, try and plan a secret attack. But the more you push it, the more it's pushing you back. Darkness has its teachings. Love is never leaving. You can't rush your healing. Your healing. Oh, Mama, well, she told me time is such a wonderful gift. You're not running out, you're really running in. The confusion clouds the heart, but it also points the way. But quiet down the mind, the more the song will play. So you can't rush your healing. Darkness has its teachings. Love is never leaving. Rush your healing. Your healing. Your healing. chase. Love is never leaving alone. You can't rush your healing. Your healing.
All right. My computer is just froze, which is great because this is the last song. I just wanted to, take a quick moment and really lay down my heart and give a big thanks to the Fox Theater here and everybody here for making this event possible. This is a really healing night for myself and hopefully for others, just to be in a venue again, on a stage again. It's really special, and my heart really goes out to all the venues across the world, really, that are struggling right now, and all the great people that have made them what they are. We definitely have a much deeper appreciation given the times that we're in. But I just, from the bottom of my heart, this is a really special thing, and I really didn't do anything. I just showed up, and the great people here at the Fox and the live stream and the lights and the sound and assistants and managers really did all the heavy work. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm thinking of y'all very much, and I feel very honored and privileged and humbled to have had this opportunity to share music with you and story with you. So lastly, I'm going to play this new song, and this kind of leads me into my announcement, or I said that I had a big announcement leading up to this. And I'm very overjoyed and proud to announce that our new album, which is entitled In and Through the Body, is officially coming out on September 25th. So we are, overjoyed in our camp. A lot of hard work went into this one. Lots of, just different journeys and experiences, obviously, but it's one of my favorites yet, and I'm just so happy for y'all to hear it. September 25th, In and Through the Body. So lastly, I want to play a track off, a song off that album, upcoming album. It's a song called Great Storm Clouds, and it's a newer song that I wrote kind of in the winter of last year, and I played it only one time at our shows here in Boulder, our Thanksgiving shows, and I'm just very happy that we were able to record it, and it is on the new album. So I'm gonna play it for you now, and then I'm just gonna end with a little chant, a little prayer to close out this portion to the Great Mother, to kind of, awaken our hearts and minds and purify our hearts and minds so that we may see in a good way, walk in a good way, be in a good way, and to give us strength during this time of adversity. But again, thank you so much, and hope to be back here soon with a bunch of y'all here in the crowd.
Up and down it goes like a great wave across my own home. All the questions of the mind trying to find a way to show that I got darkness, I got light, I got everything in between. Don't deny any side, I don't cut branches off my tree. Great storm clouds holding rain, it's part of nature to hold a bit of pain. All in all, that rain falls, and now you watch a new thing grow. Watch a new thing grow. Feelings coming, feelings leaving, that is just the way it goes. How to surrender to the mystery I feel ever know. Oh, treat it like a way to treat it like a never-ending dance. All the laughter, all the tears are just a part of the romance. Oh no, great storm clouds holding rain, it's part of nature to hold a bit of pain. All in all, that rain falls, and now we watch a new thing grow. Oh no, great storm clouds holding rain, it's part of nature, hold a bit of pain. All in all, that rain falls, and now we watch a new thing grow. 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 Hey, 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 जगतो धारिणी
All right. Thank you all so much. I'm just going to answer a few questions here. My lovely team was watching the stream and picked out a few questions from you all. Usually on tour, we'd have everybody on this show, we'd have everybody sitting down and somebody would run out with a microphone and people would raise their hands. And we do it that way, but obviously can't do it now, but no need to fear. I got some questions here, so I'm going to go through them, and that will conclude our time together. All right. Wow, what a crazy experience to have just done that. But my heart is really so full. Now let's get into these questions. Megan asks, what is a good place to start for someone starting their spiritual journey? Are there any books to read or places to go? Well, I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question. I'm just a beginner myself, I feel. But I think from my own experience, we tend to always go out. We're always going out. We're always looking out. We're always, all of our senses are running away from us towards so many things. And, I think thus we kind of think like, oh, I need to go somewhere to start my journey. I need to find this thing to start my journey. I need to, find this book. I need to meet this person. I need to, like this. And while those things are helpful on our journey of life, we gather inspiration from different places and people and things like this. It's important to remember that this is an inward journey. And it's not until we turn the mirror back upon ourselves and go inward. So wherever we are, that's where we need to be. You're already there. You're already here. You're already on it. It's a matter of, for me, I've always thought the main ingredients, I guess, are sincerity, and humbleness. Because if one is sincere in anything in their lives, doesn't have to be on a spiritual path or, like this. But when one is sincere, it's really hard to go wrong. And I feel that the great spirit, God, goddess, mother, whatever you want to call it, recognizes that sincerity and will respond to it. That's just what I believe. So you have to cry with a real cry. And you have to long. That longing is such a potent ingredient. So I wish you well on your journey. Start right where you are. But books to read, I don't know. Everybody's temperament is different. I've had so many books that have inspired me in my life. But one of my favorites is a book called By His Grace, which is by a man named Dada Mukherjee. That's one of the first books I read that involved all this crazy stuff. And it's a book that I've reread a bunch of times. And that's one that's very dear to my heart. So maybe you can try that one. Maybe it'll help. Let's see here. Let's see. Anya June asks, will you ever release a kirtan album for people like me that need it as much as water? I don't know. I've thought about it. But obviously I think this kind of Western music has obviously taken priority. And also kirtan for me is such a personal thing. It's such a intimate practice. And sometimes I feel like, I don't want to, I guess, make an album in a way like that, because I feel like, will that, be treated like a product, I guess. So we guard the things that are sacred to us, and the holy name is very sacred. But on the other hand, again, the holy name is sacred, and it should be heard, and so there's that side too. So if it'll come, it'll come. If not, it won't. But we'll see. But thank you for your question. Casey asks, how do you stay grounded and follow through with your life intentions, not only considering the swirling world and happenings around us, but also being someone who is in the growing spotlight? That's a good question. How do I stay grounded in my life intentions? I think for me, I'm kind of I need to lean on people, I'm not very strong myself, so it's important to have like-minded people around me, to connect with my, guides, my teachers. It's very important to me because they always put things into perspective for me and continually, just continually put me back on track if I'm perhaps steering off. And I'm very grateful and blessed to have so many elders in my life. So to have that holy company is very important. And I think that's one of the main ways that I stay grounded, whether it's, talking to my parents or a teacher or my wife or a friend. All these people are my teachers. So I just try to keep them close and grab onto them all the time. So that's one of the ways that I think I try and stay grounded, because they'll definitely, whack me if I'm stepping out of line. And then the second part is not only considering the swirling world and happenings around us, but also being someone who's in the growing spotlight. I think, I don't know how in the spotlight I am. I feel like it's just a dude. But, there's certain, again, I think it's important to value those things that are intimate to oneself and those things that are special to oneself. I've always been taught not to reveal those things because they'll lose their shakti, their power. They'll lose their just specialness, I guess. So by I guess, not revealing too much, is important. Of course, we want to, I'm up here sharing these stories and sharing these songs and sharing these experiences, and, some stories are very intimate, but they go much deeper for me. And I try not to, dip into that too much when sharing, because it's important, I think, to keep things inside sometimes. It's hard in our world today where, especially with social media, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all these things, again, all of our energies are directed out. And unfortunately, there's kind of this thing that has happened, I feel like, especially in the West, where if it's not up on social media, if we didn't say anything on social media, then we never thought it. Then it never happened. And people can draw conclusions extremely quickly, and it can spin out of control very easily. So, but besides all that, I still think it's important to keep those things within. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. Catherine asks, is there a prayer, invocation, meditation practice in which you tend to engage before writing music and or playing live? Not really. The music is itself the prayer. The music is itself the invocation. I don't have some type of crazy ritual before I play or before I start. I usually just like to get quiet a little bit. And when we're on tour as a band, we do kind of circle up and we kind of, just ground out and take some breaths together and have a few words. But for me, the music is itself the prayer, the invocation, the practice. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so, I don't draw any distinction between what is prayer and what is not prayer. So I'll just take a couple more here. There's a few more here. Taylor asks, what is the story behind your new song, Fire on Your House? It's a good question. I'm glad somebody asked this question. Our most recent single off the album, In and Through the Body, coming out September 25th, is Fire on Your House. And this was a very, very interesting experience for me to release this song, to write this song, to sing this song. I think most of my songs don't have this flavor of maybe anger or frustration. I try to always, or I don't try, it just, I try and let whatever is coming through to just come through and not try to push it either way. And so this song is kind of about growing up in an industry, the music industry. I entered it when I was quite young, 16 years old, 17 years old, being signed to a major label. And being so young, you're very impressionable, and I think that's the right word, where people can easily sway you and tell you how to do things, because you're young, they're grown up, you think that they know. But really, for me, I was swayed a lot, and I trusted a lot of people, and there were times when I broke that trust, and there was lots of times where they broke that trust. And I was left with such a bitterness. And I always pushed that away and didn't really express it in music, because I thought, I am this type of love, whatever, spiritual singer. I can't sing about my anger or my frustration. It wouldn't be right. And people wouldn't like it. But then with this album, In and Through the Body, it's really about the human. and all the different aspects of the human. And in my writing before, I tended to push away all of my kind of human emotions and try to sing about something beyond in a way. I kind of ignored my humanity in a way because I felt like it wasn't as high or wasn't as worthy as these other maybe like spiritual or dream-like ideas and songs that were coming to me. But in this past, year or two, things have kind of changed, and I've realized, that all the high spiritual people that I've met in my life, that I've been blessed to have meetings with, are so incredibly human, and it's their humanness that makes them divine. That, I guess, topic or that meditation, contemplation has been very deep this last year or so. And I was talking with a teacher. I was listening to a teacher on Zoom, having a Zoom call with a teacher. And she said that our path is in and through the body. In and through the body. And that just really, really affected me. So I knew that I needed to be honest with all aspects of myself, not just the beautiful, whatever, flowery stuff. I needed to also express the fire, the anger like this, and hence fire on your house. So I was quite nervous to release the song because I didn't know what everybody would think, but then I thought, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. This is part of my journey, and it needs to be done. So that's kind of what the song is about, and that's kind of what this new album is about. Our humanness, love, loss, joy, pain, all the things. So with that, I think that's a good place to stop for the evening. I just wanted to, again, extend my gratitude to everybody here at the Fox Theater and everybody doing the live stream and the sound and the lights and managers, assistants, wives, parents, loved ones, the whole thing. I definitely felt you all this evening. It's a group effort. And thank you to everybody watching for tuning in and also giving me the opportunity to, be in my medicine, I guess, to share these stories and songs. And I would also just lastly would like to thank Color of Change, who we are donating to tonight, for allowing us, for being open to us to assisting in any way we can. So with that being said, God bless you all. Goddess bless you all. And hope everybody stays healthy and calm and patient during this time. And hope to see you very, very soon. Jai Ma Kali. Boom Bolenath.